That's pretty good. Good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Today is Monday. It is just after 9 a.m. And as you can see, we have our first bit of snow on the ground. So we have quite a few different little things to get done today. I have some winterizing to get done with the truck. I have to finish up a little bit of work on the trailer, and then, which I'm actually excited for. I got some new lights, which I'm going to show you guys in just a few minutes. And then we have some moving around of the trucks that we have to get done as well to kind of prep for plowing and that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to go move a couple of the trucks, get them out of the way, and then I'm going to take you guys on down to the trailer. So I unfortunately don't have any snow scrapers in the truck yet. We got to get that done today. So I'm just going to do this by hand. The hood will be fine. We actually got a fair amount of snow yesterday. I had an Amazon package that came in last night. Those were actually the lights for the trailer, and the guy couldn't even come down the driveway. He was afraid of getting stuck, so I had to walk down there. Geez, I was probably like 9:30 last night to meet him halfway. All right, so I also have to go move my Ford, so I think I'm just gonna drive the Ram over there, and then we'll go get that truck warmed up as well, because it hasn't, to be honest, it hasn't started in, it's probably been at least a good month or so since I started that truck up, but it should be fine. It got a fresh battery this year and everything, and so she'll be good to go. But I do have to do some winterizing with this truck. I want to fully clean this thing out. I want to get all the junk out of here. I have to resort a bunch of my paperwork that's in the back kind of file bin back there. I use this for all of my quoting. All right, so we're gonna go start up the Ford. So this is my landlord. He clears out all the snow for us, which is super nice. We don't have to ever worry about it, really. All right, see how old girl starts up. I think I've showed you guys this truck once before. This is my old 95 F-150. I love this truck. Single cab, long box. It's got a 4.9 motor in it. All right, she was a little unhappy about it, but she starts. Motor's definitely clacking a bit. I didn't check the oil on it, but I've never had oil leaks from this thing before, so she's old reliable. This thing's a beast. There we go. The clacking's kind of gone now. I think it's just been a little while since she started, so that's all right. Looks like everything's running good. Oh, good to see you, girl. This thing's got a little above 3/4 fuel, so it'll be fine for the winter months. I'm not concerned about fuel lines freezing up or anything like that. And even if it does, I don't drive this truck during the winter, so this will be parked for the most part. I gotta do a little better job, I think, next year of taking this thing out. I really miss driving this truck. It's a really good truck, and it saves me fuel on the Ram there, because that thing is just a fuel guzzler. And I mean, you can't beat a 5-speed manual pickup truck. I mean, just driving around in the summertime, I mean, come on now. That is some good, just fun, raw driving right there. And you know, this truck actually does surprisingly well in the snow. For a 2-wheel drive truck, there's no 4-wheel drive on this thing. Before I bought this, a good friend of mine owned it, and he had this thing pretty far into a ditch in the peak of winter. And he had a patch of black ice, and the truck just did a 180 and slid into the opposite ditch on the opposite side of the road. And by the time I was driving behind him in my car, and by the time I pulled over I got out of the car, completely slipped, fell right on my butt, and by the time I turned around, he was already out of the ditch. I was like, what? I mean, having the 5-speed as well, you could pop it into that second gear if you're slipping a little bit and just lower that torque. All right, well, we're gonna leave old Blue parked here, and then we're gonna come back down to this trailer. So I'm gonna go grab the Dodge or the Ram, and we're gonna bring that on down. I got some cool lights that I want to set up. I have to do some reorganizing of a toolbox. Well, I'll show you all that in just a few minutes. It's a real nice day out though. It's not too cold, there's not much wind. It's one of my favorite parts about winter, is when the snow is really lightly falling and it's just dampening all the sound. I mean, you can hear a pine cone drop from a tree. It's so quiet. One of the most peaceful parts of winter for me. All right, Miss Hannah made us some real good brekkie, so we just finished that up. Now I'm just gonna go head down to the trailer first things first, and I'll show you guys what's going on down there. I started it last night hoping that my lights would come in, and I filmed a bunch yesterday as well, but it was so dark. This was probably at like 3:30, 4 o'clock that I started working on it, that I don't think I'm even gonna end up using that footage, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. All right, so I guess our daily weather check for today. Temperature on the truck is reading -1 degrees. It's really a nice day. Yeah, we finally got some snow, but I mean, as far as temperature wise, it's pretty nice. And there's not a lot of wind, which is awesome. I love these quiet, snowy days. All right, so we're gonna get this truck opened up, and then I'll kind of show you guys what we want to do here. So as you guys can see, this trailer has seen a little bit of change since the beginning of the season when I first started filming. A lot of this shelving wasn't even here at the beginning of the season. Now, I've had this trailer for about a year or two, and it was just a cheapy trailer and just something to kind of, you know, store our tools in and keep everything organized. But we've certainly come a long ways in the last, I mean, geez, even the last couple of months. So last month I put in this cabinet shelf here, and I put in a little mini aluminum brake for us. Today we are planning to tackle the trailer. So the trailer right now is a complete mess, and we've done our best to utilize the space that we have and make it as efficient as possible. Because as you can see, it's pretty packed full of tools. So this covers 32-inch. It covers most chimney flashings. You can bend up some small counter flashings, step flashings, things like that if need be. So I built in this shelf with our storage space. Last night what I did was I just had a pull-out toolbox that was here, and I took that out and replaced it with a toolbox with drawers on it. So I still have to go through and organize this, but instead of having to pull out the whole toolbox, move everything, open it, find what you need, now you just have drawers here, and you can just pull out whatever you need, and it's quite a bit more convenient. So we're still figuring out some storage for like things like some tar and our power tools, because this is obvious this stuff would just immediately fall out as soon as we started driving. And this is a pretty small trailer. It's a 10-foot, I believe it's 10 foot, or it might be 12, by 5 feet. So it's pretty small. Just a single axle. You know, I got this thing for super cheap back when I lived in my old house, and I got a great price on it, and you know, it's been great for what we use it for. But next year, I've already been looking at some upgraded trailers. I think what I'm gonna get is a 16 by 7 by 7. So that's 16 feet long, 7 feet wide and 7 feet tall. This trailer is only 6 feet tall, or not even. I think it's even just a little bit under 6 feet. And I can't even stand up straight in this. You got to be, you know, on the shorter side to be able to stand up in this trailer. So you're always walking around crouched. I hate it. It drives me crazy. I also don't like the width. The reason I put this shelf in is so we had a little bit of an alleyway. But I still haven't eliminated everything. We still have to wheel in the compressor, and then every time we park, we have to wheel it out. Not a big deal, and certainly a lot better than what it was, let's say, a month or two ago. But long term, what I'd like is to have a permanent shelf here with a full length 10-foot aluminum brake. I've been looking at the Vanmark Trim Master brakes. I think we're gonna pick one of those up. So a full length cabinet on this side and a full length cabinet on this side. And this side would be for our brake and our metal bending. This side would be for all of our upper tool storage cabinets, things like that, silicone. All of our accessories, drills would be hung on this side. And it would also provide a working bench for any kind of cutting, anything you need. You need some tool repair, whatever it is. You have a little lit working bench on this side. You can take care of all that stuff. I do really like the layout that we have right now. It's tight, it's compact. But I think we've made pretty good use of the space that we do have. We have spare material in the back of the trailer, or I guess I should say in the front. We have spare starter shingle. We have spare architecturals for any kind of repair work. We have lots of spare capping, again, for any kind of repair work, or if we're short a little bit material, we have that all here. This is something I still have to get rid of. This is just some waste. And then I'd opted to put all of our accessories on this wall, and they're all nicely hung up, and anything that's powered is connected to this power bar here. So this power bar just runs off an extension cord, and then when we only work on residential homes for the most part, and if we are doing new construction, it's usually additions onto an existing home. So we pretty much always have power. If I do move into new construction, I'll probably just pick up a generator, but that probably won't happen until we have a longer trailer anyways. And at that point, I might just put onboard batteries on the trailer so we can just, you know, I may even invest in solar panels at that point, so you can just have consistent off-the-grid power no matter where you are. But for now, we have 2 DeWalt chargers hooked up to this outlet. We'll just have a battery powered Bluetooth speaker. This is more of the job site radio that we take up with us. This one is in here if there's anybody in here bending metal, whatever they're working in the trailer, then they have some audio if they want it. Little rack for just our impact and our drill. We got some bits. I picked up these little battery holders that just hold all of our DeWalt batteries. So those just clip right into place. So all of the charge batteries go up here, which is really nice. Keeps them out of the way and tidy. And then over here we just have our, you know, Hitachi nailers. We're gonna be picking up Milwaukee just dropped their new roofing nailer, and it is quite an upgrade from the DeWalt ones. So we're gonna be picking one of those up in the new season. So hopefully, again, that'll be, I'm starting to run out of room on this wall. So hopefully that will be an addition with the new trailer. You know, power job site radio. We've got our temporary anchors. We have a fire extinguisher in the back. First aid kit is over here on this wall. You know, silicone guns. We have our caulking guns. We have our caulking up here. And then lots of accessories, safety gear, glasses, earplugs, masks. We've got caution tapes, electrical tapes. We've got duct tapes. We've got, what is this called? Tuck tape and all that. Here are just some spare screws, spare staples. We've got a tack gun here, and then just more accessories. We've got drill bits. Got some knee pads, a couple pairs of those, and then we have some different paints. If we're painting up an old, let's say cast iron boot or something like that, or cast iron pipe or electrical inlet, something like that, we will oftentimes paint those. And then we have some of our window cleaning stuff that's just kept here for now. What else do we have on this side? Oh yeah, I guess we have some of our chalks, oil for the guns, some cleaners, things like that. And then on this side, I keep a few sets of jacks for our jack and planks. And so this takes care of most of the bottom jacks that we would ever need. And in the event that, you know, we need more, then I just run out to, you know, if it's a bigger job and we need lots of jacks, then I just run out and I pick up the ones that we keep stored in our shop here, and that takes care of that. We just got some sockets. These are going to be out of here today. We're going to put those in the truck. We have our pitch hoppers. We have 4 of these. We have 3 32-inch and 124. Always recommend getting both sizes because the 24 definitely has its place. There's some small areas. The 32 is like hanging off the rake or something like that. It's just a little too big. So having both sizes is really nice. Cooler, this is also going to be going. So I'm gonna downsize this to about half the size, and then I'm gonna put another stackable shelf. I think the DeWalt Tough system I'm gonna put in here, or I've been on the fence a little bit with the new Milwaukee nailer. I've been like, man, maybe I should just switch to Milwaukee. Because to be honest, I kind of like them more to begin with, but I just started with DeWalt, geez, over 10 years ago. And because I started with them, I just kept going because I already had batteries. And to make the switch 100% back to Milwaukee or to Milwaukee is pretty expensive. So I think for now, what I'm gonna do is just buy the Milwaukee nailer and keep all my DeWalt stuff. But anyways, so this cooler will be going. I'm gonna get something smaller. I usually keep waters on the site for all the guys, but this big bulky cooler does take up a decent amount of room. So I'm gonna cut that in half, and then I'm gonna fit some tool storage for like angle grinders, sawzalls, things like that. That'll go under this shelf. And then just some roof cement we use for our ridge caps. And then, yeah, so here is the toolbox we put in yesterday. So this still has to get some organization done to it. We have to do some work to this today. But we have some hose clamps. These are good for our bathroom vents, bath or dryer vents. This is what we use in combination with tuck tape to fasten our flex pipe to. So we have that, lots of just like screwdrivers, bits, miscellaneous things, knife parts. Like I said, that all has to be organized. These are just our handles for the mini brake, just some standard cloths. We got some pen holders up here, tape, metal benders. Over here is where we keep all of our roofing screws. This is a miscellaneous bin. You always got to have a miscellaneous bin just for random stuff that ends up in your tool belt. But we've got this is mainly 2-inch wood screws in here. We do have a bunch of 3-inch as well, but there's a few at 3-inch in here. We got our roofing screws, standard, just black and white. And then we have all of our finishing nails and soffit screws. So we keep both of those. And you can see we have white, cream, brown, and black. Those are our most common colors. And so we keep both finishing and soffit screws in there. So first aid kit over here. We got some siding removal tools here in case we're ever replacing step flashing. And then we just have our blower. So this, I can actually probably take that battery off, eh? So I kind of just decided to put the blower at the back because it's one of the last tools we use at the end of a job. Down underneath this cabinet is where I keep a lot of our spare underlayments. We have some of our ice and water under there. Some spare trim. I keep all of our spare plywood under here as well. We've got our tarps and our ladder legs, whatever you want to call them. Got some spare strapping, 2x4, things like that. So spare material, a lot of that goes in here. I really wish I had a slot where I could put full sheets of plywood, but since this trailer is so short, an 8-foot sheet of plywood comes all the way down here. So I'd have to move this cabinet out at least a good, you know, a few inches, and it just cuts into the walkway space. So when we get a new trailer, we will have a full section for plywood, for strapping, all of our spare material, everything. We will have everything possible on the trailer, which will be really nice. On the back doors, this is where I keep all of our harnesses. We got some hard hats, and then I keep our tool belts here as well. So Henna and I, our tool belts are here. Johnny's goes on the bottom there. And then just our harnesses are kept here. What else? Yeah, so we have our pylons. I keep all of our pylons. I have some spare buckets, fuel. I have all of our hand tools. I have all of our hand tools over here. So all of our rippers. We have a pitchfork there if we find that's easier. Shovel, broom, rake, magnet sweeper. I got our flag up top here. And then we just have air lines. We have ropes, extension cords. We have our foldable step-up ladder. And then we have our saw ponies right here. So I think we've made pretty good use out of this space that we do have. I mean, pretty much every wall is being used for something. I think I might mount up a level up here and maybe a couple framing squares, maybe a speed square or something, so I don't have to, if I forget it in my tool belt, then we have a second one here. So I am really looking forward to a wider and longer trailer. Hopefully, again, like I said, that'll be coming next year, and that'll make for some fun videos to do. And being able to get a full-length 10-foot aluminum brake in here will really enhance the final product of a lot of our jobs. It'll allow us to do a lot more variations of work. We might start stepping into the siding world, but just having a metal bender is a huge asset for any roofing company. So we're excited about that. All right, so the two things that we have to do in here to finalize this for winter, I have to organize and clean out these drawers here from the toolbox, and I have to set up our lights. So I'll show you guys there. I think what we'll do is we'll start with the toolbox. So I'm gonna move all this stuff over, and then I have, this is what was in the trailer before, was just this big bulky toolbox. And so it was a pain in the butt having to pull this thing out every single time. So what I would like to do is have these a little bit better organized. So in the bottom drawer, we have more of our hand tools. I just have to be cautious because of the actual spacing for these. So we got things like a rivet gun, that can all go in here. We got a couple pairs of extra snips, you know, cat's paws, things like that. Okay, so that's pretty well set up. Got extra speed squares, things like that in there. We got extra screwdrivers, extra tools like we got a rivet gun in here. We've got some of our chisels. It's just a tool for roll on. I've got some of our trowels for breaking apart shingles, things like that. So that's pretty well set up. All right, so that stuff goes in there. This socket box I'm gonna take over to the truck. That's gonna get stored in here. And then later today, what I'm gonna do is take out all of this stuff. We're gonna clean out the truck, get it winterized. During the summer, it gets pretty dirty on and off, you know, but I do try to keep it as clean as I can. All right, so here are our lights. So I'm super excited to put these in. The last couple weeks that I've been working on the trailer, I really could have used lights. And I was like, man, if I'm ever having late nights in the trailer or something, and I just not being able to see is not very helpful, you know? So what I opted to do was I picked up a couple of these motion activated LED lights. And these are, one, they're magnetic, which isn't gonna stick to this, but they do have little clips here, or sticky pads, and they stick to the actual frame. So these are rechargeable LED motion activated lights. And what I'm gonna do is run these Type-C cords through the frame, and they're gonna run down the wall into the plug. So these will pretty much always be plugged in. And then whenever we're on a job site, we always run this extension cord out to the house, and that charges all of our DeWalt batteries, GoPro batteries, and now it'll charge our lights as well. And so if we ever run into the scenario where we're off-grid and we don't have access to power, these have a 10-hour battery lifetime, and that's supposed to be while the light is on. They should last 10 hours. So 10 hours of lighting, and then we would just plug the trailer in, and these would start charging automatically. And then if we are in a situation where we don't have power, then we have 10 hours of light if need be. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take down these cords. The crew put these on in attempts to hold our tarps in place and to keep them off the ground, but it didn't work very well. After the first trip, they were kind of already sagging and hitting you in the face and stuff when you're walking in the trailer, so I made them get rid of those. So we'll take these off. We're going to take out this flag. So the convenient part about having these batteries, you only put your charged ones up here. You can just take them right off, grab a drill, grab a bit, and you're off to the races. It actually makes you feel a little like the ceiling's a little bit taller. It's kind of nice. Well, there's a few different positions that I could do for these trailer lights. Now, I think I want something over top of the mini brake here. And that's so if I put it here and we're standing here, then my back might block a lot of that light, and it might not really do any good for if you're working on this bench, which defeats the purpose of these lights. So I can either hang them both up on this side, because that illuminates most of the actual working area. And I can always get two more later on and run them on this side. But if I do it here, then by the time you get, you step in, again, your back's gonna be blocking out a lot of that light. I think what I'm gonna do is fasten two of them along this side, and then I might end up picking up two more to go on this side of the trailer. And I think I want the motion sensor closer to the back, so when you first walk in, it's more likely to turn on. But that means I have to run this wire over here, all the way along here, and then behind this paneling. All right, so what I might do is drill a couple holes and then run some zip ties in there to hold those up. And we'll just give a couple marks for where we want these. So I'll put one right about here and right about here. Okay, well, that drill bit is terrible. All right, let's see if we can fit a zip tie through that. No, it's a little bit tight. All right. And then these magnets just have little sticky pads on them. These are originally made for like interior cabinets or closets, things like that. But because we're going to be swapping trailers in the next, probably in the next 12 months, I opted to just do this. All right. Still got access to all the controls, and it doesn't really impact the light. This one's covering it a little bit, but I mean, I'm not worried about that. So, okay, so we have two different lengths of wire. So one of these is 20 feet and the other one is 15 feet. Because one light's going to be a little bit closer than the other one, so I figured I don't think both cords need to be super long or anything. I think even 20 feet is pretty overkill. I ran these out last night and I was like, man, I've never seen a USB-C so long before. So these get plugged in like so. What I'm going to do is run these zip ties up along the frame, and that's going to be what holds these all in. Now we're going to run this cord all the way along. Beautiful. And we can plug these in. Okay, now we've got all our cords running up and along. Those are all hooked up to the lights, and our lights have power. Beautiful. Okay, sweet. So we got two lights hooked up, and then like I said, maybe I'll do another two on this side, and you know, I could always bring those to the new trailer when we get that, so that's not a huge deal. But yeah, that's sweet. It's nice to have those. I'll probably come back later tonight and I'll show you guys what they look like when it's dark out, because they're pretty bright for what they are. And they have an auto setting here, which doesn't work during the daytime, but when it's dark enough and you walk in, they'll automatically turn on, which is nice. Let's turn those off for now. So they're hooked up to our outlet, so whenever this is plugged in, these lights will be charging, and hopefully that system works out pretty good. Okay, well, this trailer is pretty well good to go for winter. I've already done all of our wire inlets with electrical grease, so those are all fine for winter. I might just give the thing a final blowdown But apart from that, we shouldn't be in this trailer till next season for the most part, unless I have to come down for the occasional drill use or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this has all turned out. I think it's going to be a much more efficient trailer for next season, assuming everybody can keep everything where it needs to be. You know, there's going to be a few things that we need to pick up in the early season. Yeah, really excited to pick up the new trailer when that time comes next year. It'll open up a whole new realm of opportunity and possibilities for us, and what we're able to get done. And I'm pretty happy with how, you know, everything has turned out for the most part. I think we've done a pretty good job. So, well, we're gonna put this compressor on in the trailer for one last time. Now I gotta get used to clacking my boots before I get in the truck. So yeah, this truck needs a good cleaning. I gotta get all my hats out of here, and there's a ton of stuff under this seat I gotta get rid of. Just want to clean it, get it nicely organized. I also want to put together a little kit for winter. It's always a good thing to have, you know, spare water, you know, a little we have a first aid kit over there, but you know, a warm blanket, things like that, in case you ever get stuck. You know, you have the peace of mind knowing that you're okay to spend a night or so if you have to. On top of that, you know, keeping your tires good, keeping fuel in the truck, things like that, right? I got the socket set in here with a breaker bar, so if we need to, we can change a tire. We've got a jack and everything in here as well, so if need be, worst comes worst, you know, you want to be at least somewhat prepared and you know, have some of the basics ready at hand for you. So one thing I've been thinking about is what kind of videos am I gonna make during the winter? And I can do fitness videos, like fitness for contractors, or I can do our podcast videos. But one thing that kept crossing my mind was doing a combination of fitness videos and information videos for people who are wanting to get in the business. The biggest thing stopping me was kind of the setting and the backdrop for the video, because it'd be mainly just me talking to the camera. And so one thing I thought of was setting it up in here. So this is our old workshop. I thought it might be a little bit better feel to the video. I don't know, we're still kind of laying out our options for that stuff. But I thought the backdrop of the, you know, the old school shop, and I thought it might be a little bit better fitting for contractor videos. If you guys have any suggestions down in the comments below, please let me know what you guys would like to see you know, do you guys enjoy just an everyday vlog? You know, even if it has nothing to do with roofing, will you guys still watch that style of video? Let me know in the comments below. Are you only here for strictly roofing content? Because if that's the case, I can make informational style videos, and those can be fun as well. All right, so now I'm gonna work on taking out some of the bigger junk that we don't need in the truck. So one thing I've got to reorganize is I've got to take in all these work hats, because we don't need these. These will probably just go into storage. These are summertime, you know, business hats, stickers, that kind of thing. So a lot of these can go back inside. And then over here is kind of my quoting bin. So I put a lot of my samples. So when I'm going out for quotes, I do half of it digitally and I do half of it with in-person samples. So it's kind of a long process, and it's made for a separate video, I think, but I do carry this with me. This is for my quotes, and I want to reorganize this, update some of our samples, and broaden that. We'll get out a bunch of this big stuff, and then I'm going to be driving over to the vacuum place, and we're going to vacuum out the truck, give it a nice little clean. All right, guys, we ended up cleaning out the back. We did basically as much vacuuming as I could with our at-home vacuum. I got a few things here I got to take back out to the shop and to the trailer. And then I thought while I was out there, I might give this a shot. I've seen guys use drills before to clean their carpets, so I thought I'm gonna give that a shot on those carpets and see if it gets them a little bit cleaner. All right, well that works great. That works fantastic. All right. All right, well screw it. We're not going to the vacuum shop anymore. I think those are just fine. I mean, it's winter time. They're gonna get destroyed anyways, so. All right, and last but not least, the driver. All right, well there you guys go. There's a little cheat code for anybody at home who wants to clean up their floor mats. Man, that's fantastic though. That worked really well. Okay, well this is definitely staying in the truck. All right, well we're gonna get on the road. I think I'm just gonna skip the whole vacuuming thing. I think the vacuum that I used did a good enough job, and we sprayed out those floor mats as well. So I think we're fine. But I do have a few errands to run, so we'll go and do that now. And I guess I might as well bring you guys along with me. So with that being said, let's get on the road. All right, man, it's dark in here. I'm gonna put some light up here. How's that? You guys see me now? A little bit? There you go. Now you can see me. All right, guys. Well, it is just past 5 p.m. now. We finished up all of our errands throughout the day. I wanted to show you guys the final product of those lights that we installed. And, well, first we're going to check out, make sure they all work. So I'm assuming they will, but I want to make sure that auto function works at nighttime. So, yeah, let's go check it out. You guys won't be able to see a whole lot up until we get inside the trailer, but let's go check them out. Now, I did test them with the on function, but we're gonna see if the auto works. Aha, it does. There's one, and there's the second one. Beautiful. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that works great. That's more than enough light if it starts to get dark out. That's pretty cool. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna walk outside. I'm gonna see what it takes for them to shut off and for them to turn back on. All right, the one turned off.
A few moments later.
Boy, they stay on for a while, don't they?
3 days later.
Well, let me just make sure this one's actually on auto. Yeah, it's on auto. All right, the one shut off. All right, so that's both off. Now let's try opening the door. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. All right, well, that's perfect. And the main reason I put them here, again, was so that the light wasn't getting blocked by my back. So I can still bend metal here. It's no problem. There's no shadow lines or anything like that. Just some nice overhead light right over the bench. Still have enough light to see in here. And again, I might add a couple more as we go on, but I mean, those things are pretty bright for this small space. They work pretty well. So I am pretty happy with those. That was a great success. All right, guys, well, that is the end of this video. I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching. Everybody who's watched our videos over the course of the whole 2024 season, we really appreciate it. And yeah, we're just coming up on 5,000 subscribers. Really cool. And me and Hannah, it just means the world to us. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know down in the comments any ideas you guys have for future videos. And let me know if you're okay with watching just a day-to-day vlog style video during the course of the winter. We won't have much roofing content, so let me know if that piques you guys' interest. Or, you know, if you only want to see roofing content, then I'll try my best to put out as much as I can. Maybe I'll make some informational videos or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching once again, and we will see you guys in the next one.